Hi, you're watching Current Issues. My name is Vineet Malhotra, and the situation in Kashmir does not seem to be getting any normal. The army unit in the 16 Corps headquarters in Nagrota is being attacked by Fidain as we speak. 3 soldiers have already died on a day when Pakistan's got a new army chief. It is now clear that General Bajwa is not going to endorse a peace process between India and Pakistan. What should India do to tackle Pakistan? Should it have an iron fist or engage in dialogue? Well, we'll have our experts answer that question for you, and let me start the show by welcoming them. Brigadier Amrit Kapoor, a defense expert, is with me in the studio, so thank you so much for being here. A leader of the BJP, Shaina NC, will also be joining us very shortly, and Chaitanya Singh of the Congress will also be here very shortly. Brigadier Kapoor, 20 plus attacks have transpired since the surgical strikes. Now, the surgical strikes brought a sense of relief to a lot of citizens. Probably Pakistan would stop doing to India what it's been doing, indulging in a proxy war for the past 20-30 years or so. Is it time for another surgical strike, and probably a bigger one?
Right. In case you want to have another strikes, then you got to select the place and timing. I mean, now this thing is known to them that Indian Army has capabilities of striking anytime, anywhere. So now this surprise factor is not there as far as surgical strike is concerned. So you should be prepared for an escalation. The moment you carry out any such offensive action, maybe a covert operation or overt operation, you should expect escalation, because Pakistan Army is equally professional army, and they are also going to react. Now, all these things which are happening today at Nagrota and Samba, they are basically the fallout of the recent beating which Pakistan has been given in Kashmir, where they had killed 3 of our Jawans and beheaded 1 of them, and subsequently we had carried out a counter-offensive on their large number of their posts from where they had attacked us, and they were annihilated. Complete these posts were destroyed, and they suffered very heavy casualties. Even the Pakistan media has been reporting 150 casualties on their side. So this thing was very much expected. This escalation was expected, and some this counter reaction from them was expected. Now you can link it to whenever there is a change of guard. At that time, certain sort of escalation of activities takes place. That is a known fact whenever any big event takes place. So that is just to give us sort of an indication that things may not change with General Bajwa coming as their chief. They are going to remain the same. This is an indicator to you that since you know that Pakistan is basically being governed by their army and not by the democratic forces. So therefore, army, if they have to stay in power, they have to play the Kashmir card all the time, and that's what they are doing. Okay. And with any change of guard, I don't see any change in their attitude unless Pakistan army decides to change their role, which is doubtful.
Okay, Chaitanya Singh of the Congress Party. Chaitanya, the surgical strikes haven't changed much for us. Business as usual for Pakistan, infiltration, corruption, and of course the ISI and the army still continues to rule the roost in Pakistan. India has possibly exhausted all its resources. We have probably exhausted all our ideas. Is it time for another surgical strike? What would your government have done in a situation like this? Our Jawans are dying daily. There is unrest, there is a sense of alarm and panic along the LOC. Schools are shut, the civilians and citizens are suffering. Pakistan seems relentless in its pursuit to, be obsessive with India. What would you do differently, Chaitanya?
As you have rightly said, what action to take, what not to do, is the responsibility and the prerogative of the government of the day. The Congress Party does not believe in chest thumping. Several surgical strikes were carried out in the past also. Whether or not any surgical strikes have to be carried out in the future is to be decided by the government of the day. We very well know, the whole nation knows, how effectively the Bharatiya Janata Party has been able to curb the problem in Kashmir. You know the jumlas the Prime Minister used to say while during the election canvassing campaigning, 56-inch, all to control the whole country is being subjected to inconvenience in the name of controlling terrorism. And
Okay, there seems to be some technical issue with Chaitanya's line. Brigadier Kapoor, coming back to you, Kamar Javed Bajwa is going to be the new army chief. Do you think he's going to toe the same line as his predecessors, and that line being, to pressurize the government, to pressurize the Pakistani government, and not have a conclusive dialogue with India, and continue this proxy war situation, rub their egos, and just be happy and complacent about the state of affairs in Pakistan?
Now, with this change of guard, I don't foresee any change in the attitude of Pakistan, whether A chief is there or the B chief is there. Although the reputation of General Kamar Bajwa is that he is an LOC expert. He was commanding 10 Corps, which is the largest corps of Pakistan Army, and he is also against the homegrown terrorist. He is not in favor of that. But unless Pakistan firstly, they decide on good terrorist and bad terrorist, they have to shelve that, because as long as the terrorist is carrying out action in J&K, that is a good terrorist, and which carries out an action in their Wazirabad, that's a bad terrorist. So unless they change their attitude, and terrorists have got no religion, they have got no faith or anything. So they have to change that, and with this, General Bajwa is not going to change. Like I told you that in Pakistan, the shots are called by the army, and Pakistan army, if they have to stay in power, they have to play the Kashmir card all the time.
Right.
And so they are not going to, nothing is going to change, nothing is going to stop with the change of guard, whatever they may say. And in any case, Pakistan army will not relent. They will not hand over the reins to the democratically elected government of Nawaz Sharif. So they are not going to change their attitude at all. And
Okay.
we should, what we have to do is, we have to make ourselves strong. Why bother about Pakistan, what they are going to do? We should make ourselves strong. We should arm our armed forces. We should train them well. We should provide them intelligence setup. Like now, these incidents which have happened in Nagrota and Samba. So they are basically, they are happening all along the national highway. The national highways, they pass through the cantonments. Erstwhile, when these cantonments were made, at that time there were very small roads. Now they have turned into major axes of transportation and communication. And so these problems will continue. Like everybody is asking, how could they reach? That's a road, there is no coordination between police and armed forces. And as far as controlling the traffic on the national highway is concerned. So we have to take certain very strong measures, steps, especially in J&K, starting from Pathankot right up to Jammu. You find all our cantonments are the national highways, they are going through the cantonments.
Okay.
So you will expect such things happening, and if a person has come on a suicide mission, you can't stop him from carrying out an attack on the establishments. And it is very difficult. Like earlier, we used to have a cushion from the fences of the fences of any unit or establishment on the national highways. They used to be in depth. Now there is no depth left. It is right in the show window, and you can have any amount of protection, any amount of resources. You will not be able to prevent these.
Okay, Shaina NC, leader of the BJP party, also joins me. Shaina, thank you for talking to us. Mr. Chaitanya Singh of the Congress party is with us in the debate, and Brigadier Amit Kapoor, defense expert, is also with us. Now, Shaina NC, the surgical strike was done probably under the assumption that Pakistan, would fall in line. They would understand the ability and the strength of our troops, our ability to penetrate across the LOC, and avenge the casualties that they have inflicted in terms of our army. But Pakistan does not seem to be falling in line. The question that I asked Chaitanya Singh of the Congress party is a similar question I'm going to ask you. Is it time to get a little more creative and not deal with Pakistan as some sort of a belligerent child, a belligerent brat, who's going to fall in line if you punish him? Is it time to, have a paradigm shift in our policy, especially by the BJP government?
Well, be under no mistake, the BJP government will do precisely that. Our Prime Minister, after 70 years, we have somebody who has the political will and is not going to compromise on his conviction or his integrity and his commitment to the people of India. Pakistan in the current scenario, if you see Uri or you see Pathankot or you even see Martyred, where one of our soldiers was mutilated, seems to be in a denial mode for reasons best known to them. But it's not as if India is taking it lying down. The surgical attack was a befitting reply and done within stipulated time. In conclusion, the Home Minister, the Defence Minister, the Prime Minister's office, the security officers, agencies had all collaborated to ensure that this would be an answer that Pakistan got so that it stays clearly away from any ceasefire violations. Now, I do concede that post that what happened in Martyred was most unfortunate, and they seem to be denying the fact that they will be dealt with severely. But India is not going to stop here. The befitting reply that we're talking about has been given time and again and will be a continuous process. But the current scenario, to declare Pakistan as a terror state is something that the international world community stands with India. Stands in solidarity with the belief that yes, Pakistan is a hub of terror, insulating terror and terror activities. And it's most unfortunate, but it's an internal matter of Pakistan, that they have chosen a general who only seems to think that Kashmir is an agenda when Kashmir is a non-negotiable. Kashmir is not even the area of contention, our area of contention, and our talking point will only be terror. Now, if this isolation that we're talking about is limited to a particular area, then I think that this debate would be futile. But the fact that it is an isolationist policy which is economical, political, social, cultural and in all spheres is a given. It is in the days to come for us to realize what is going to be the role of the international world community, and I feel given Mr. Donald Trump's whole agenda on terror, the international world community and the US will stand in solidarity with India, which will be one more strength to our endeavors.
Shana, do you think Pakistan is probably going to use its nuclear status, as a deterrence for India to, actually go into an existentialist war? But the BJP has been very, very prudent and very, very aggressive about, economically, elevating India's standards, in the world view. Do you think our friends like Turkey, Israel, Russia, and other countries could probably be convinced bilaterally to actually, take economic action against Pakistan? I'm only suggesting this because, everything else seems to flop against Pakistan. Do you think we can actually use our economic might to show Pakistan down?
Most certainly. Look at the current scenario where Pakistan has said that they will not import any products from India. What is India's reaction be? We are not determined, we are not determining our GDP or our own economic self-sufficiency based on one country. So I think that this isolation that I'm talking about is not going to be just India isolating Pakistan, but even countries like America doing the same. And please do understand, a country that is brewing homegrown, hardened terror under the guise of saying that they're propelling jihad is a very scary scenario even for the other neighboring countries of Pakistan. And I think that in totality, the world community is at least of the opinion that whether it's the Jaish-e-Mohammed, whether it's the LET, whether it's, the Lashkar, whether it is even organizations like the new age so-called intellectuals terrorism, they are all being shielded and fronted by Pakistan. So it's imperative for us at one level to be debating, yes, but to have proactive measures so that we ensure they are pushed to the corner completely. And that is happening because look at the current scenario, look at their GDP, look at the per capita income, look at the education, look at the facilities. So if they are going to give us threats or think that they can use any kind of nuclear power, they're sadly mistaken, because India is not a weak country and India has the international backing of every single superpower or every single economically independent machinery in the current scenario. So I don't think that we need to be threatened. If at all, they need to see the writing on the wall, and if they continue to be in denial mode, they'll be wiped out.
Okay, they will be wiped out. And Brigadier Kapoor, Pakistan is nuclear, and the first use doctrine is something that we can expect India to follow. But all of the agreements that have been signed between India and Pakistan, be it the Shimla agreement or be it the ceasefire agreement, have all been flouted by Pakistan. And when Obama, the outgoing president of the United States, was asked that what keeps him up at night, he said that the stockpile Pakistan has. How worried should we be about that?
Yes, I think US is concerned about that. So that's why they continue to provide aid to them despite the fact that Pakistan is a terrorist state. They know it very well. They are giving them so much of aid, and that is used against India and not against the terrorist. And they have got their own compulsions. That is very clear. Like what Obama has said, that is a concern to them. So they don't want to leave Pakistan in lurch, and they won't like that these weapons should get into the hands of terrorists. So for that reason, US will continue to give them support. Like Shaina ji just brought out about the economic sanctions. These are not going to make any difference on Pakistan, because Pakistan has got assured assistance from USA. They have got their own interests, like what you have mentioned about the nuclear armory and nuclear weapons. And from China, they are getting so much of money, $46 billion in the CPAC. So they are not, Pakistan is not concerned about any trade things with India or any other country. So they have got support from all the Wahhabi culture, those countries as well. So they are not going to. What we need to do is to do something which hurts Pakistan. Yes, we got to have a multi-pronged approach. We got to have socially, culturally, economically, and diplomatically, all those things like isolation is being done in the World Forum. Even in America.
Brigadier Kapoor, why is Pakistan given this special treatment by the United States? Is it because of its geostrategic position? It's probably got access to a few landlocked countries. Has proximity with Russia. What is the reason that the United States, on one hand, it wants to call it a terrorist organization, and on the other hand, it has lobbyists in the Congress who actually bide for aid for Pakistan?
You see, like what you have already brought out, one reason is the nuclear weapons, which they don't want these nuclear weapons should get into the hand of the terrorists. So that is number one. And second thing is, of course, they want their presence. They have got their bases there, certain cantonments in Pakistan, which they are managing. And their main concern is, as long as Afghanistan is there, their supply line passes through Pakistan. So they have to keep them in good humor. And otherwise, in case they choke their supply line to Afghanistan, the Americans will not be able to sort of operate there in those areas. So that is another reason. And the third reason is that they want presence in this part of the region to have access to other countries. And also to counter certain influence of China, and also to counter influence of certain other countries, which Chinese are trying to make a sort of encircle certain areas, and like now they are making the CPAC, and they want to have access to Gwadar post, and with the result access to the Arabian Sea, and then they want to control the supply lines, all the routes they pass through that area.
Right.
So it's a very actually grave situation as far as India is concerned.
Absolutely. Chaitanya Singh is back on the line. Chaitanya, welcome back. Pakistan, is probably feeding off all that worries India. But the point that I want to make is that a united Pakistan, Chaitanya, is probably not a good idea for India. We want it to implode. We want Gilgit-Baltistan to be independent. We want Balochistan to be independent. This is a line that is being towed for a long time, but it dies out after a point in time. How consistent must the government be in order to make sure that Balochistan and Gilgit-Baltistan actually help our cause of controlling and probably decimating Pakistan in the future?
We represent political parties, but what the issue that we are discussing today is of national importance, and we cannot talk of national importance without speaking of the actions of the government of the day. Our Prime Minister lives outside India more than he lives in India. Is it not a failure of the foreign policy of his government? They could have completely isolated Pakistan. Maybe not the required steps have not been taken by them. What is the purpose that is being derived after all the trips that he's been making? He has been to the US several times. He had an unplanned visit to Pakistan only to wish the daughter of Nawaz Sharif on her birthday. So the foreign policy of this government is a monumental failure. They haven't done enough to ensure that these attacks that Pakistan is reined in.
Okay.
The surgical strike that they carried out, they didn't carry that out. It was the armed
Yes, I'll let China NC respond to that. The monumental failure is what he's calling your foreign policy. All the foreign trips that were made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi have been futile. All those hugs and all those handshakes and chai par charcha actually rendered nothing.
Monumental failure.
Okay, China, go ahead, China.
What monumental failure is he talking about? The Congress party, the Congress party in totality is a monumental failure.
You should talk about facts.
The moment they realize that, they will stay mum on issues that they don't understand. This is the only Prime Minister who has been so hardworking, who has spent every minute of being overseas in the interest of India. Whether it is ensuring, whether it is ensuring that huge sums of money come into India, or for that matter,
Chaitanya, let's have a civil debate. Let China complete her statement, then you have a right to come back.
The fact that we have the international world community standing in solidarity with the BJP government is the fact that the Prime Minister has established rapports, relations across the globe. He is one of the most powerful leaders in the world. When has India ever seen this kind of a situation where you are equated at par with Trump and Putin and Narendra Modi? I mean, I think you need to give it to him that we have an area of self-esteem and we are on a pedestal when it comes to negotiations with any country. This international world community that is supporting India is purely because of Mr. Modi's hard work in this particular field. And please, he has not gone to holiday or like your leader who just disappears and absconds for 2 and 3 months and resurfaces in Burma after some stint. He has not wasted one day in public office. Which Prime Minister do you have who is so hardworking? I think you need to answer these serious questions.
Why is it that since your government has come to power,
this is not a monumental failure, this is a failure of the Congress party.
Why have these ceasefire violations increased?
Sir, why don't you go back in time? Why don't you go back in time and see the ceasefire violations during the Congress regime?
Madam, you need to go back in time.
Why don't you go back in time and look at the way we have contained issues? Whether it's the surgical attack or whether it's the ambush in Myanmar. Do you remember all of that? And as far as Pakistan is concerned, don't forget, it is their own people, the Baluchis, the people in Sindh, the Pakhtuns, all of whom are talking about the terrible situation within their country because of the terror endorsement.
So please do not politicize the armed forces. We respect our armed forces. And I would like to request the BJP to not politicize any action taken by the armed forces.
The country knows, and the mandate that the people of this nation have given, whether it's in Gujarat or Maharashtra, immediately is testimony to the fact that they stand in solidarity with a strong leader.
Okay.
Please answer one
There's
question.
no
Why have the
political
ceasefire
gain.
violations
The Congress
increased
party
since
has
the
no
time this
gain.
BJP
That's why
government
it's
has
in
come to
pain.
power?
And because it's in pain, it uses words like monumental failure.
Oh, so you agree?
Okay, Chaitanya. Okay,
so
Chaitanya.
you are agreeing
and,
that the
and
BJP
China
has gained.
Okay,
Political gain.
Chaitanya.
To,
Let's get an objective and
I'm not agreeing
military.
to
no,
anything.
Vineet,
opinion
she has
from-
just agreed to the fact that the Bharatiya Janata Party is in fact gaining politically
I
from
need to
surgical
leave,
strikes.
so I would request you to give me a moment to make my last comment.
Okay, Shaina, go ahead.
I request you to give me a moment to make my last comment.
Go ahead, Shaina.
When it comes to Pakistan, we are very clear. There is no talk about Kashmir. There is no negotiation when it comes to terror. It is understood to the international world community that Pakistan is the hub of homegrown terror, terror activities, terror organizations and terror funding. And for those people who are in denial mode, they need to understand that the international world community stands with Prime Minister Modi because of the relationships he has made across the board. Today, India is in a commanding position. Even with the United Nations, Pakistan has been called a bluff on multiple occasions. I don't think any foreign relation has been as good as it has been in 2016, purely because of the effort and the endeavor of the Prime Minister. I only want to make one point, and I make this in conclusion, that if you feel that the ambush in Myanmar or the surgical attack was not a befitting answer, wait for the times to come, because this is a government that has the courage of conviction, has a strong leader that is guided by political will and has the foresight to ensure how to finish off terror within a jiffy with the support of the international world community, so that the onus is not directly on us but on the international community to declare Pakistan a terror state.
Okay, Shaina, thank you for
And
joining us.
isolation cannot be selective, it has to be in totality. So we have said it, whether it's a political, economic, social, cultural, all. Thank you.
Okay, Shaina, thank you so much for joining us. Chaitanya, thank you so much for being here. And Brigadier Kapoor, one last question for you, and it'll be really nice if you can answer it briefly. Pakistan and China, their proximity has only increased over the last few years. India and US, we are allies, we have supported each other, and like I said, all those handshakes and hugs and Chai Pe Charcha has actually, taken friendship to another level. But still, Pakistan is supported financially by the United States. I find that a little contrary to what actually, the narrative should be.
You see, that is part of the global design of the United States of America. That's a global power, you must understand. And they have to keep their interests. So their interests are more important than their interests with India or India's interests with USA. So we have to keep that aspect in mind,
okay,
and make the best out of these relations with the USA. And like I told you earlier also, that they will continue to support Pakistan despite our protests and anything, because they have got their interests as far as protection of the nuclear arsenal is concerned, and also to counter the so much of aid in the form of the CPAC which is coming up by China. Absolutely. They want to counter that influence, and the main thing what they have to keep their interest alive in Pakistan is the supply line of their troops in Afghanistan that passes through Pakistan.
Absolutely. Okay.
So they cannot. I mean,
they cannot
India may say anything.
They cannot afford to antagonize
yeah.
Pakistan
Yes.
in any way. Brigadier Amit Kapoor, pleasure for having you here. Thank you so much for taking out the time. Chaitanya Singh and Shaina NC, thank you for coming on Current Issues. That's all we have. We'll see you tomorrow. Keep watching News World India. Thank you.